Let's do it. Figuring shit out, man. What up? We back with another great episode, man. Episode 105 in the books. Frank, we cranking these things out, my boy. Y'all know who I am, King Arthur, Unifying Thriver. If you didn't know, come check me out. I'll be speaking on a stage near you. I don't know where you at, but I'll be speaking on some stages coming up soon, popping the things out. Frank, what's going on with you?
Not much. It's a beautiful day. I got the book, Get an Elusive Perspective, offered by me. It is an introduction to waking the fuck up. Dropped it a couple months ago. It's on Amazon, Barnes Noble, and or you go to my website, elusiveperspective.com, get a signed hard copy from me.
Preferably.
What's what's going on? Who we got? What's up?
Not much, man. We got Mr. Richard Blank with us today, man. He got a lot of stuff to talk about, conflict management strategies and some other techniques. So, Mr. Richard, how you doing today?
Doing well, King Arthur. So happy to be with you. And Bunny Flax. Love the book, Bunny.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. You should be very
I
proud of
know.
yourself.
It only took 40 years, right? First book.
Listen, your English teacher in fifth grade would have never guessed. So look at you now. Yeah.
No, that's a fact.
That's right. That's right. So,
Yeah.
to get this thing rolling, get the ball going, we ask all our guests the same famous question, right? We ask them, what's their figuring shit out moment? A moment that made you say, aha, where you started living your life a little differently.
When I decided to be a Spanish major in college and not fall under the sort of pretense or pressures that other people followed, I have a lot of friends that studied 1,000 things. Now they're selling real estate. So, um, thankfully, when I was in my teens, I knew it wasn't a career, but it was definitely going to be a nice large size pistol that I can bring along with me for the rest of my life, and definitely opened 1,000 doors. So, I mean, I'm a kid from Northeast Philly that can speak Spanish. A lot of people give me a second glance and ask me follow-up questions, and it's a very nice thing.
Bro, listen, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm from New York, and you probably know more Spanish than me. So I've seen it all. It's fine. I, if I'm when I'm around my family, there's certain things I can pick up, but as far as like driving me in the country and being fluent, I'm not your guy.
Oh, man.
This right here, this book changed my life. This is the book. This is the one you want to get. If you really want to know what's going on in the world, if you really want to gain the perspective you need to change your outlook, this book, An Elusive Perspective, this is the one that's going to wake you up, help you to see the world for what it truly is. Take the blinders off, look behind the veil, wake up. 11 chapters of knowledge, information, the truth about this planet, about this world, about politics, about abundance, about money. Get this book now, change your life. It's all
Well,
good.
I see it's equivalent to eighth grade mathematics, pre-algebra, as long as you can master, the five, the yo, tú, usted, nosotros, ustedes, and then you just
Oh
plug
yeah.
it in. It's just, I liked it because A, the girls were cute that spoke Spanish, so it gave me
Right.
extra game. And secondly, when I did speak Spanish outside the classroom, I got such positive reinforcement from restaurants or public places or just anywhere. And especially my Spanish teacher, she looked at me and she goes, listen, man, you really should study this in college because you love it. And anybody that does dedicated practice
Mhm.
outside of the studio or the gym or things like that, you're living it. So of course you're going to be one of the best. And that was my aha moment where I knew that if I captured this lightning, it would
Right.
definitely take me places.
That's different. So, you don't hear many people saying learning a second language, right, is going to be their stick in life, right? So I homeschool my children. We homeschool, and my wife, she taught herself some Spanish enough to teach them, right?
Mhm.
So she's well versed more than all of us, but she's still learning. But the children are further along than I am. And I said, well, since you guys are learning Spanish, I'm going to pick up Mandarin, right? I'm going to try to teach myself Mandarin, and it's a struggle, but I'm trying.
Mandarin.
Yeah,
That's
uh,
really ambitious. That's
Chinese a business country, so I want to see if I can pick us up. I go to a Chinese restaurant and I'm like ni hao, and they look at me like what, and I hit them with xi xi, and I leave and say bye. They all look at me kind of like what are you doing? What are you talking about, guy? But it's cool. Um, so speaking Spanish, how did that help you like in life and in business and starting what you got going on with the course?
Think of it like this. When most people say they fear public speaking more than death,
Mm-hmm.
and let me do it. Come on,
Right.
Scooby-Doo used to go in all the caves. That's why you win. You get the gold. And I looked to my left and I looked to my right, and none of my friends were doing it. And I did not want, it's like chum in the water with sharks. I can't compete to be an attorney, a doctor, different types of business, and that's fine. I'll play the game. But I needed an angle. I needed
Right.
something cool, James Bondish. I just don't like small talk. I want to
Right.
I want to show some depth.
Right.
And when I would meet somebody, the jobs that I would have, like I interned for Telemundo. So I was in Tucson. I was working with certain individuals like Pedro Sevsek and Miguel Quintana. These were major players in the 90s. And my mentors that said, go, Richard, go. I mean, that's kind of cool when you're 21. And
Right.
my point being is that instead of announcing yourself, you're being noticed. It's different. It's assertive,
Right.
not being aggressive. Like you don't really need to wear bright shirts all the time. And so I could be calm and cool. I could show
Right.
some serious respect, and this is prior to any sort of contracts. And really, it's like going from half court to foul line percentages. And so for me, just in regards to simple metrics in business, friends, relationships, dating, I had more interactions. The interactions were longer, and my conversion ratio was 10 times better. So, King Arthur, I was a king for a day. It felt great. And you have this sixth sense, the intuition, the tingles, the cosquillas, las mariposas. And unless someone drops down from heaven, smacks you in the face 10 times and goes, yo, dummy. I mean, come
Right.
on. I
Right.
mean, you got to see the signs. But here's the skinny. You need to get past parents' guilt. And there's a lot of naysayers and gray believers out there who love you to death. They just have never done it, afraid, or just don't want you to get hurt. But what are
Right.
you going to do? Sometimes you got to step up to the plate and face it. And so I had to do this alone.
Right.
No one was coming with. And so I
Right.
had
Right.
to just make a serious decision in life. And I decided to be true. I really wanted a pure life where I was raw and I
Right.
didn't have
Right.
to remember facts. It was very consistent, like the truth.
Right.
Mm.
And these are the sort of things that gave me such distance, like a long bow. I've never seen such self-confidence and self-reliance that's just done naturally and organic, and it's not offensive to people. All people are doing is telling you to keep doing it. So
Right.
yeah, that was a very
That's
cool thing that happened.
no, I like how you mentioned instead of announcing yourself, get noticed, right? Can you elaborate on that? So it's like you did something out of the ordinary. Public speaking, yes, pe a lots of people are fearful. I'm even still fearful. I hate crowds. I like the one-on-ones, the small
Get
groups,
them
I'm
out there.
okay with. Anything more than 5, 10, 20 people, and I'm not your guy. But you said that instead of announcing yourself, get noticed. So can you elaborate on putting yourself out there, getting noticed, and like just standing outside of or standing out in a crowd to achieve your goals?
No, I like Iceberg Slim. I like being cool.
Hmm.
You don't need to rush. You
Right.
don't need to sweat. Why raise your voice? Why don't you let you speak first and I speak second? I'll definitely have my turn. What's the rush? Getting
Right.
drinks for people, handing them first, opening doors for people. You know what I saw, my man? Social grace and soft skills.
Mhm.
Bedside manner. I didn't need to be yucking it up at the moment or trying to rip somebody to make myself feel better. I would really try, in essence, to have some sort of foundation with somebody. Did it work with everyone? No. And I'm not
Mhm.
everyone's cup of tea. But those that get a chance to get to know me, they'll remember me. And we have very nice relationships. And so I build it on that. I build it on first downs, not Deion Sanders touchdowns. There's only so many of you guys.
Mhm.
And I'm very cool with little at a time. Really, I can pan for gold. I don't need to explode it. I'm very patient. I'm a patient man.
Right.
And so when you do that, you become more lucid. You take away a lot of emotion and you can see certain levels of depth of moves that can happen with people. Or
Mhm.
does this make any sort of sense, gentlemen? The only
No.
reason I'm saying this is because I'm in a call center industry and I've studied tens of thousands of phone calls. So I do see sort of rhetoric and speaking patterns.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
No, it makes perfect sense. Jumping back to the call center, do you own a call center? Or you train a call center, or like what's the deal with the call? I read something in your bio that you run or you own a call center.
Bunny Flax, I sold my soul for a golden fiddle. Hmm. Oh
I like
yeah.
this guy, Frank.
When I was 27, I came to Costa Rica for just, it was supposed to be 2 months. My cousin Joe said, "Come
Mhm.
down. A friend of ours has a call center, teach English." I fell in love with it. I stayed. But here's the deal. I learned the business from the inside out, not at
Mhm.
sea level. Why? That gets you jaded. You
Mhm.
can't. You got to keep it pure. And so when I sat with the people, I heard the good, bad, happy, and the sad. But then I passed around all departments: retention, customer support, onboarding, sales, search engine optimization, training, even the labor laws with human resources. And so there's a lot of people out there that want to make quick dollars, and I agree with that. It all depends on the game of life. But for me, I realized if I was earning just a little bit of money having fun in Costa Rica, but I was getting some crazy experience, especially in my late 20s, where I had some maturity and impulse control, it's different than when I was 18 or in college.
Oh,
And so
oh, facts.
that's what gave me even additional experience and foundation to start this business when I was 35. Now, I'm not a young gun. This didn't happen in my 20s. It took me to my mid 30s
Right.
to have the plan. But listen, better late than never. At least I'm dancing.
It's
And
never too late. It's never too late.
no,
Hmm.
No, I like this guy, Frank. I like him a lot. And I can tell that
thanks,
he's a
King.
speaker. He's a room controller. But like you say, I don't have to announce that I'm in the room. The room will know I'm here. Right? I will get noticed.
Well,
And
you
kind
got to
of like
work the room still, King. You
right.
can't just hang in the corner and have all your people come to you. I mean,
And
come
so,
on.
with that being said, like I used to be shy as well. Like I used to be super shy, but it was like I realized it was just I didn't have anything to talk about, or I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. And when I realized, when it's my turn to talk, I did have something to talk about, and people were kind of interested and kind of captivated. And like, oh, that's kind of cool. I tell the story of when I went to Toastmasters. Me and a buddy of mine got
Mm.
on a podcast, and we went to Toastmasters.
Yes,
And
and
I thought I had a
Toastmasters.
problem. Like I thought I needed some help speaking in front of people, and get my confidence up. But there was this one guy who had Tourette's. He would get up there every week and he would tell his story. He'd do his little tweak, but he'd keep going. I'm like, dog, if he can get up there and talk in front of these people, I am fully capable, able bodied. There's nothing wrong with me. If he can do it, I know for a fact I can do it. What gave you the confidence to say, oh, I can do a call center just because you worked in it for so long?
Because I'm going to die in 48 years. You only get 100 years here. When are you going to get off the bench and go
Barely.
ask someone to dance? What's wrong with you, King?
No, that's a
Seriously.
bar. That's a
No,
fact.
listen, there's only so much you can take. And then you wake up one day and you don't respect yourself. I'm not saying I was at that stage, but time was a ticking.
Hmm.
And I wanted to at least see if I could have a hero's journey. Life's a
Yeah.
gift. I mean, I don't know whom we're all comparing ourselves to. I think you two are doing a great job. You're good friends. I love being here. So
Thank
let's
you.
just let's just keep it at that happy sort of state. And so once again, it's about, as you say, inner peace and balance and focus, working your core like boxers do. You don't breathe, you have no core, you don't last.
Right.
And so I got my Philly grit in there. And I did it the old school way where I wanted to have the respect of the people. And I first did it through the language, which immediately is a first impression. But
Right. Right.
secondly, by doing, this is my wheelhouse. Just don't write checks. You put me on a phone anytime, any campaign, at least I will get you very high QA marks. I don't know if I'm going to convert the call. Who knows what the deal is? But you're
Right.
definitely going to hear someone hitting the highest marks in regards to customer support, soft skills, and moving things forward. But my point being is that how many times do you need to hit the bag or practice?
Right.
It's my time, but sometimes you don't have a coach or a team or a stadium to put you in. Sometimes you got to make it up. And
Mm-hmm.
so you really have to make that decision as well. You can get found on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and be discovered and famous. And look, you guys are there. You're on your way. It's only going to
Oh,
get
for
bigger.
sure. For sure. Yeah, we trying.
But but then again, my favorite stories is when you listen to artists in the beginning. Like I watched old Prince concerts when there was like nobody there when he was playing in Detroit, all black and white, 8 millimeter. But he's playing his heart out. That's the same Prince as you were seeing in later years. And so
Yeah.
you have to respect the person that was a college athlete before going pro, or even in Pee Wee leagues that had the drive, had the desire. And so I don't ever want that taken out. And if no one's going to put me in the race, then I can't run. I sometimes have to do it myself. And so you were mentioning King Arthur earlier about, learning Mandarin with your family. Let's, call it straight. I'm not the smartest cat in town. I went to the University of Arizona. My grandpa went to Harvard. My dad went to Columbia, my brother
Mhm.
Washington and Lee. There's no way I was getting into those. I barely got into Arizona. My point being is that I would watch the movies, Spanish movies with the Spanish underneath. Why? To work the phonetic ear, because 40% is distraction, background noise, and screaming. I don't know what they're saying, but I can start working that. Secondly, you start reading. Okay, that's the second. And then the third thing is just studying grammar for 6 months. And then you just have the grammar base of all the different levels of the future and conditional and subjunctive tense, which makes it a romantic language. But you got to
Right,
do it. Like the
right. Jump
gym,
in.
you just got to do it, man. You got to hit it hard. And if you do it over a period of time, it doesn't hurt anymore. And then
Right.
all of a sudden you got it, and you got it for the rest of your life.
And it's
Mhm.
a skill that you can use forever. How long did it take? So when you made the decision to learn Spanish and become fluent, how long would you say passed? Like how fast did you learn pretty quickly? Did it take you years? Did it take you weeks?
As I mentioned, I just wasn't the best student. I didn't know how to
Mm,
plug and play it. I didn't know what to do. So it was cute when I was in high school. It was
right.
intermediate when I was in college. And then it became proficient when I moved to Costa Rica. So I
You immerse
had
yourself.
to, like in the gym, I had to find people to speak Spanish with me. But I'm not
Mhm.
going to do it sitting here saying, let's review grammar. You got to be kidding me. Come on, Bunny. Let's go to the supermarket. Let's start talking out lechugas and tomates and pepinos.
Right.
Let's start looking
Go
at
to the restaurant.
vocabulary. Yeah, let's go to a restaurant. Let's go to the movies. Let's just go hang out. And let's just do it the fun way. Why? So 3 hours passed and we're having fun compared to wanting to kill each other. And so 3 hours a day used to add up.
Mm.
It would add up. And then all of a sudden you're good and you start doing it by yourself. And so that's it, my man. The old school way, not through AI and
Oh
not
God.
through these things that have you memorize phrases. You sometimes have to
Courses.
get in there and
Right.
Yeah.
really get the intricate details.
Hey Frank, that's that. I heard somebody say like, if you're an athlete, are you going to go to the gym like One Life, or are you going to go to the gym with the athletes train at? Right. That's what that sounds like to me. Like I can learn on my own, but once I go to Costa Rica, I got to get it
No
because
choice.
I'm the only one who doesn't speak
That's
Spanish
right.
here mostly. Right. So
And
they're
they
like,
don't, yeah, they won't accommodate you.
no,
You
no.
gotta just learn how to, yeah.
Want to hear something cool?
What's up?
I'll let them think sometimes I don't speak Spanish. I'm like, yo no speako españolo. And they're like, this guy's an idiot. I'm like, yeah, keep talking. I just want to know if they're trying to, set me up in
Swindle
Boys
you.
Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if they're cool. And then, I don't do that with everybody, but sometimes I gotta do the spidey sense.
And so how is business in Costa Rica compared to, or if you've run business in America? Have you run business in America, or no, just Costa Rica?
Oh man, this is my first time. Still on my
Oh,
first business after 18 years. I can't compare it with anything. How
Okay.
is it the difference? I have family that have business in the United States. Let me tell you, at least Costa Rica. We're
yeah.
north of Panama, south of Nicaragua. It's the only democratic society in Central America. They have
Wow.
no standing army, so they put their money back into education. 95% literacy rate, right? They have the most neutral English accent, best infrastructure. So companies such as Amazon, HP, Intel, and Oracle are here. We're known for eco and medical tourism. We're like 2 hours from Miami, mountain time zone,
Okay.
proximity to the United States. How is it doing business here? Well, the labor pool is not as large as certain areas of the United States, but anyone that's bilingual bears the mark of higher education. So you're getting someone that packs a punch. But I
Okay.
do compete. Very skilled labor force. So they do have the inbound customer support, lead generation, sales skills. But the pura vida, pure life,
Hmm.
culture,
Hmm.
it's a beautiful culture. I mean, it's really for tourism. And so if you're asking someone to sit in an office and make phone calls 40 hours a week, it's tiring for them. They can do it. It's very lucrative. They can make more money, but sometimes it's not in your heart. You
Right.
don't, you don't need to. Here's the thing about call centers. If you are talented and you have skills, you don't need to sell your soul for $1 and do something shady like a sweepstakes or a scam. Like I think
Telemarketers.
Bunny, you were teasing in the beginning, mentioning stuff like that. And so,
Yeah.
um,
I worked in a
you,
call center once. I worked in a call center to sell magazines, and then I worked as an IT help desk for a couple of years. So my call center days are behind me. But go on.
No, no, I want to hear about the magazine sales. Was this like an 8 hour a day shift?
I was there for a day and a half, maybe not even two
Bunny.
days.
Wait a
I
second. That sounds like
but
training only.
but I did make sales. Like so there was like this it was a shady orientation. They just first off they just take anybody. So there's real no interview process. They just take anybody. King, you probably know what I'm talking about. It was the one on Virginia Beach Boulevard. But
Oh yeah, I was there for like a day and a half too.
yeah, everybody worked there.
That's crazy.
Um so I
Day and a
went there.
half. I
I,
have.
I got hired. I did a one day. It was like a night shift, maybe three,
Mm,
4 hours, 6 to 10 or something like that. And I got
Yeah,
like two or three sales, selling magazines. They give
sure.
you a script, they tell you what to say, how to rebuttal or whatever. And I did
Hmm.
fine. For my first day, I got three, I guess I got three sales, or at least that's what they said. But then my second day, I was in there for like 30 minutes to an hour. I wasn't feeling it. I got up, I walked out, like, I can't do this because I didn't feel they trained me what to say, and I knew what to say to sell magazines. But I knew in my heart, I'm selling magazines to people that don't really want them. Like my first sale, it sounded like a young guy. He was like 18, 19. He didn't know who he
Hmm.
was talking to. I just called him on the phone. This was like 20 years ago, and I got him basically. He bought the magazines, but at the end of the day, I'm like, this ain't me. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I couldn't do it. But that's me. I feel like, and that's where I like in sales things because if I don't believe in what I'm selling and what I'm talking about. I can't really sell you on it. And so that was the issue with the telemarketing.
I couldn't
Um,
agree with you more. You
yeah,
shouldn't
never,
have to do something that's gray
yeah.
area.
I was just like, and then the guys, when I made my sales, the guys, the managers were like, congratulations, you made the company $800. And I'm like, that's fine for y'all. How much am I getting out of this? And whatever it was like, 10, $11 or whatever.
75 an hour.
Yes, trash. And then the second time I was in IT help desk. I'm in an IT background. I do cybersecurity. And that was for my
Yeah,
career. 3 years dealing with, customer service, helping people with their IT problems. Some are easier than others. Obviously, you get to learn, how to talk tech to people who don't necessarily understand tech at all and try to
that's
help them with
right.
their problems. So that was a great learning experience. But that's it. After I got out of the IT help desk, I was done. I was like, no more call centers for me. I need to do something else. But that's me.
Yeah, that's cool. At least you did it.
Oh yeah.
You built soft skills, that's important.
Hmm.
And that's I'm an IT too as well. And I always when I'm interviewing, like that's my number one go to. I have a soft skill most techs don't have. And when you think about ITs and techs, they don't want to talk to anybody. They want to play on the computer. They want to fix things. If it's broken, let me know what it is and I'll fix it. They don't want to talk to anybody. So that's
Hmm.
like one of my gold stars as well. Talk about your call center. Like what I don't know what a call center is. Let me know what a call center is, and how do you get people to work in the call center? Because when I was in the call center, I wasn't the strongest reader. So I took my whole day trying to learn the script. Period. Because I was like,
Right.
man, what? I'm trying to verbatim, remember it and spit it out verbatim. And I was
Rebuttals.
like,
If they say this,
yeah,
say
no, that
this. If
ain't
they
me.
say this, say
Like
this.
I too stayed like the first 30, 40 minutes of the second shift and was like, yeah, I'm going to play basketball.
They have
Like,
high turnover that place. Nobody stayed there long. It was
yeah.
that
Yes,
nature.
they do. Of
What
course
is it?
they do. Well, you asked multiple questions. I have multiple answers for you.
There we go.
Uh, this call center that I have, we mostly deal with small to medium-sized companies in the United States and Canada. The campaigns are clean, work with law firms, movies and music, travel, transportation, things that don't compromise ethics, values, or
Hmm.
morals. And people can go home and tell their parents what they do for a living. And so, but when it comes to the script and rebuttals, it's just like the gym. You haven't built up the muscle yet and you're feeling the burn, you hurt.
Hmm.
It's new. You haven't stretched.
Hmm.
These are the sort of when you watch movies such as Boiler Room, Wolf of Wall Street, Glengarry Glen Ross, it's a beautiful art of speech. It's a dance. Naturally, they're slinging stock in real estate, and that's fine.
Right.
It's
Penny
their
stocks.
deal. But it's like an actor in on stage or in Hollywood. They're just so exceptionally well versed, and they know they're pausing
Hmm.
and when to use trigger words or certain. I was thinking of something earlier to make it easier for your public speaking and relationship building. It's due diligence. It's like a spy before James Bond will break into a castle. He's got to know the layout and what to do. And so before a business meeting or a group, I would look on LinkedIn or Facebook and I would see goodies. So when I was at these cocktail parties or I was standing up doing the public speaking,
Mhm.
you can talk about, JJ's Pizza on Third Street. They're like, yeah, they know that you know what they're talking about. And so it's nice like that. It's like when they would do the shout outs in the rock concerts. But I love my due diligence. I love positive escalations. When Judy would transfer me to you, I would let you know, Bonnie, Judy's the greatest. Or, hey, King Arthur, I just spoke to Bonnie Flax and he's the nicest guy. I always pay it forward
Right.
some way, because if I have to call your company back, I get a hero's welcome. They'll let me know when King Arthur's in because he's not in on Thursdays, he's around Friday. And so um, you might feel the pressure of a cold call close, but
Right.
most salespeople build a pipeline
Right.
where they need to send out an email, leave a voicemail, uh, call back, or receive a call. And so it's just a matter of time management and organizing that. That's second and third touch technique. And so a lot of times these salespeople are very hard on themselves
Right.
when they're making these calls. And so
There's a lot of pressure.
not really. I mean, if you really think about it, what is pressure? Pressure from whom? I'm proud of you, Bonnie. King Arthur's still your boy. Who
I
are you getting
appreciate
pressure from? And if it's not going to
to
work out, there's,
perform.
listen, there's 50 other ways you can earn a living. At least, as you say, you dipped the toe in and you're experiencing life and you
Right.
drank it and you moved on. And so the only thing that I guess have an opinion on as well as the magazine sales. I don't know necessarily if it was a scam, and maybe the guy that you called never thought about reading a magazine. Now that he gets like Playboy or highlights or I don't know GQ, might have
Right.
changed his life. Who knows? And
True.
he might still hold on to the magazine because it's
He
still
probably
kind of
still has
cool.
a subscription today, 20 years later. I think so. If I remember correctly, you had a list of certain magazines, and I guess you're supposed to ask him for his interest, or maybe there's a script or something that lets you know somehow they got his number and email and they knew what he was interested in. But I sold him like three subscriptions to like a car magazine. Maybe it was like a woman's magazine or like a, not Playboy, but like another type, Vibe or Vogue or whatever. And it was just basically like me telling him, hey, you can get, oh, it was the price. That was the selling point. It was like usually you for these subscriptions, they cost you whatever, whatever. But if you come through us, you buy through us, you get it for, this low amount. And it's something you're interested in, yada yada. And so that's what it was. But selling is, I don't think selling is one of my strong points. I know it's something I need to work on, especially if you want to do well in business and you want to grow and expand. You have to be able to sell yourself. You have to be able to talk about whatever it is that you're trying to sell. So if you have any advice for anybody who wants to get into selling via speech and talking, I guess what are like three main points for a novice, for a beginner that you could tell us to help them either be inspired, motivated, or just help them become a better seller?
Of course. First is close your eyes and think of this. From an educated point of view, make a decision. Hmm? Honey Flax, you're the last person to force a hand. And yo, King Arthur, stop twisting my arm. That's not selling. If you get the deal done, it's a one and a done, but that's not a referral or a friend for life. And you guys just don't do it that way. I'd rather make a call back than a press sale. And so that's number one. That should take a lot of pressure off. If you are given the 10 minutes to make your case and you know your rebuttals,
Yeah.
then you're good to go. And the rebuttals sometimes, for an example, let's use my call center. Okay. Why should I do business with you, Richard? Well, first, I'm picking up the phone compared to speaking to Billy, my assistant. You want to speak to the owner. Secondly, you might like the long shot from Philly that comes here, that walks the roads and knows his people, writes
Mhm.
script, writes rebuttals, does QA, hands-on guy. Is that what you are? Of course, you own a company. Great. And then the third thing is I can scale accordingly. I've done this before. I can make suggestions on what to do so we can pace it. How many leads do you have? What's the average talk time? Oh, you don't know these things. That's fine. Let's walk through those metrics so
Mhm.
I can deduce. I'm not trying to sound superior, but damn it, don't tell me that you can give me a month's worth of work on 100 leads. And don't tell me
Right.
Jasmine at your home office can do 10 an hour when the average talk time's 8 minutes. Come on, don't do that. Be
Mm.
straight with me, put me on a level playing field. And so
Right.
a lot of conversations I have, I need to calm people down or give them realistic expectations because they think it's, once again, what you see in the movies. But no, it can be a means to an end. People can make a ton of money if you make phone calls, but let's
Right.
give some speaking advice to people.
Yeah.
The first bit of advice is adjustments of tone. And so you should go into the thesaurus, which will give you similes, give you the best example. Don't ever say, I'm going to help you. It's going to make us, it evokes an ego defense, right, King Arthur? I'm not helping King Arthur, nothing. Depending on the stage of the relationship, I'm either assisting Bunny Flax,
Mhm.
I'm guiding King Arthur, or I'm lending a hand to my
I like that.
buddies. That's it. That's it. Same message, different delivery. How about another one? You ready for another?
Yes.
Don't ever say I'm sorry or excuse me. Don't do that. You say, hey, King Arthur, for my clarification, was it A, B, C, or one, two, three? In chess, you sacrifice pieces. Sacrifice a pawn. They say falling on a sword. It's not going to end the battle. No one's going to get hurt. Actually, it's taking off your jacket and putting it over a puddle for a lady. I'm saying, it's your dog, Bunny Flax. I can't freaking hear you. And King Arthur, your cell reception's the worst in the world. But I'm saying, for my clarification, I'm not saying,
Right.
excuse me. What'd you say? No,
I'm
no, no, you don't do
sorry.
that.
None that,
What do you,
yeah.
why would you ever? It's once again, gentlemen,
Mhm.
adjustments of tone. And another thing that I've noticed with people, you ask open-ended questions. I'll give you the best example. Yo, King Arthur, you like ice cream, right?
Absolutely.
Great. Hey, Bunny Flax, what kind of ice cream do you like?
Chocolate.
Great. What did I just do? I stacked his question. I went vertical, not horizontal. Why? I could do the double. Hey, King Arthur, you like ice cream? Of course I do. What kind of ice cream do you like, King Arthur?
Mm-hmm. Butter pecan.
But it can. I could have gotten the double like Bonnie Flax did. Sometimes I get a triple where Bonnie goes, listen, I like chocolate, 2 scoops, of course, in
Mhm.
a waffle cone with Jimmy's in the sauce. I'm like, dude, I asked him one horizontal open-ended question and it went to a vertical 5 stack.
Right.
Thank you, which
Right.
saves time. And so you just ask very strategic, open-ended questions. What kind of ice cream? Then he goes, I don't like ice cream. Now you found out. But if he goes, I love ice cream chocolate, you got the double. And so
Right.
that's all I'm saying. You can double up questions to reduce talk time and get better responses from the people. And then always use military alphabet. And that's the only time on the
Oh,
phone that
yep.
I think you should be robotic and monotone because flax, F like a philo, L, you go Lima, you got to go.
Foxtrot, Lima, Alpha, Charlie, Sierra. Yeah, I was in the military, so yeah, they told us that too.
Thank you, Bonnie,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
that's the main thing I was going to say. Bonnie Flack served in the military. So instead of the call ending, he goes, hey, I served in the military. Oh, Bonnie, where did you serve? Which branch?
Navy.
Rock on. And so thank you so much for your service, my hero. And so
Appreciate it.
instead of the call ending, now I know about the Navy. Now when it's Veterans Day or any other hero day,
Ah,
then of
right.
course, yo, Bonnie, my hero. You're like, Richie Bike writing me today. What's going or when I ever speak to what's up, Navy boy, you start talking to these things. And
That's crazy.
it's real, it's real because
It,
A, I
it
got your email and now look what we did.
and it creates. I'm picking up what you're saying because it's you create a connection. You create a connection there that you can always go back to, give your guy a call, and sell to them in the future, right? Make a friend, make a business associate instead of a one and done. Or like the guy that I sold magazines to, I never talked to him again. It wasn't my company, but there was no connection. It was just buy these magazines, you can save money. Thank you for your time, and that's it, right? And that's like a one and done. The company got a subscription probably off him for some time after that, or till whenever he canceled, but I didn't. You know what I mean? So I see what you're saying, and that's important.
So
Creating. Go ahead.
when I hear him talk, I just keep thinking about me selling my mask. So I have a product, LED
Mhm.
mask I sell, right? And I'm usually at kids events or family friendly events where a lot of people are coming. And it's an instant gratification type of thing for me because 9 times out of 10, I'm not trying to sell them anything else but that one product. But like you're saying, it's not a pressure because the parents will come and say, "Oh, we're gonna walk around," and I just have a rebuttal already. Like, as they're walking up, I say, "Mom, 9 out of 10 kids come back, right?" And so when they do come back, say, "Mom, I told you," right? Or we're gonna go walk around. All right, just come back and see me before you leave, right? And when I'm hearing you say these things, like, oh, I do those things subconsciously because two things: always be closing, always be selling, right? So I'm always out there. When the people are coming, I'm speaking to everybody, just being nice, using my own kids as a reference point. Of you have all of your kids, right? Mine, and just having a conversation like you were mentioning about nothing that's on the table, not even no product around here. While the kid is enamored and everything on the table, I'm talking to the buyer about
Mhm.
anything else, right? Because the kid is making the decision, and the parent is just like, all
Oh,
right,
wow.
he's in glee. You can't beat that smile, right? The child is already deciding. The parent just has to, get on board, right? So now I like that. And then I was also thinking about how when I want to take this and get other people to do it, but they're like Bunny, terrified, right? Not even terrified. They're just like,
Not
I can't do
terrified.
that. There's no way I can go out there and and talk to people, but they don't know what I know already. I don't have it written down, but it's like if I tell them what to say and how to say it, they'll be like a robot instead of just getting the gist of building that rapport and just having a open conversation with them and not feeling pressure to sell because the product is going to sell itself, or you
Mhm.
can nudge it a little bit, right? But no, I just related so much to what you were saying. Like, how am I going to now? I guess is the question, right? How am I now? How would I get others to sell the product and be as good at it as I am?
Oh, yeah. Clone
King
yourself.
Arthur, I have a follow-up question for you. Let's say you speak to 100 people at this event. Out of
Mm-hmm.
the 100 people, how many sales do you think you make?
About 25 to 40.
My main man. Okay. So the 60, you still gave it your all. Is that correct?
I would say so. Yeah,
Okay, my good friend. Let me give you Richard's two philosophy. I'm going to give you a 2 for 1.
I'm taking
All
notes.
right.
Hey.
Doesn't need to. I'm going to keep it simple, stupid for you.
Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Number one is you need to learn how to jump clouds. Jump those 60 clouds. You got nothing out of it. Jump them. Okay. Secondly, you got to learn to have romantic deaths. Those 60 were deaths,
Mm.
but romantic ones, because King Arthur gave it his all. He really did. We all know you did. Seriously. And what's interesting is the ones that you thought you had, you didn't get. And the ones that just walked away came back and bought five. And so it's amazing. Where am I going with this? When you're telemarketing, and just like when Bunny was making his calls, you don't bat 1,000 and 25 to 40%. That's freaking incredible, man. Well done, King Arthur. And so what do you do? A typical composition has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Any sort of communication has it. It could be 20 years or it could be 1 minute, but there's always an introduction, body, and conclusion. Your body and conclusion don't even exist if you don't land an intro. If you don't get an anchor or an arm on that rock, you're done. It's just over. And so, what I'd like to do on my phone calls, or what you can do, is wear a big ass name tag, King Arthur. So they can't miss it. So they're like, King Arthur. Yes. What's your name? My name's Richard. Hey, Richard, King Arthur. Dude, what a great intro. And
Anchor.
then look at me and go, that's a really nice jacket. Thanks, man. I say, I like your glasses. Great. That's 30 seconds. And then say, do you want to buy something? No, but I'll see you later. But I tell you what a beautiful King Arthur Richard, compliments twice. Moved on. What a jump. What a death. You
Okay.
didn't cry or beg in the corner. You went in there berserker style. You stripped down butt naked, took some mushrooms, and ran in the snow. I mean, you were ready for it. And so, I think when you make yourself super vulnerable, you will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Absolutely. Okay.
Well, it's
I'm
definitely
so the
done.
Big
product.
name tag. That's the
So the
thing. And then you
product
connect
is
on the
like
name.
The products are lights, so that's a eye catcher. People, especially when it's dark, they like they don't even they come on. What's going on over here? Right? I seen the lights. Now I can get me a name tag with lights on it. My man, I'm going to use that.
And they're going to look at the name. They're going to go, King Arthur, go, that's my name.
Absolutely.
What's your name? And if they don't say the name, then they got to go. But I bet you 8 out of 10 are going to say, my name's Billy. Hey,
Right.
Billy. Hey, King Arthur. And then you say something nice about them and you keep that high. Second suggestion for you. When I was working for Corona Importers, when we used to do our events, just couldn't hand the t-shirts away. I had to have the drunk people do things. So I had a putting green, a little mini thing. That's it. Or the little kitty Papa shoot. That's mini. Maybe the Papa shoot. Why? One of the best forms of rhetoric is the red herring, the distraction. So when Billy is shooting shots, he's definitely going to want to stay at least 30 seconds to shoot the 6 balls. Might stay a minute to shoot another 6. That will, if not just coming, going, he'll be back. Maybe so, maybe so. But if I can lock this kid in with a free game of hoops, where you these things are what, like 35, $40. Put a battery in, it shows 45 seconds. You're taking simple shots. Simple shots.
That's a good
He
one.
ain't leaving. And the kid's going to cry because he wants to do another. And listen, if you can beat 50 points, you get this stuffed animal. No one's getting 50 points. Come on, make it. The greatest thing in the world is a carnival barker. A carnival barker, and you're going to keep it around, and kids are going to cheer. And then you have a little scoreboard on the side. Little Billy got 43. You almost got it. You know, you start marking that. What's going to happen? The mother's going to stay for at least 30 seconds up to 2 minutes. So what's that going to do? You're going to speak to now, I don't know, maybe 70 people. Sorry, it's not going to be 100. You're not carpet bombing anymore. King Arthur. You're going to have 70 opted in qualified leads that you're going to speak to, and you're going to be better off on that 70 because now you're going to be converting probably 50 of them. 20 will drop. All right. Don't worry about the 30 you're losing. No, man, I'm replacing it with quality people because they're not rushing. I got you covered, brother. King Arthur, once again. Or you can get something which could be really cute, temporary, or if you want, spend the money and get a name tag thing to put it on that's custom made for you. So they've been at your booth. And that's for the raffle that goes on later. As long as you keep it on and there's a raffle, you can win something too. Come on, King Arthur. I'm giving you all the ideas so they keep coming back at 4 o'clock to see if they won. And another thing you got to do, helium balloon. Because they're walking around with your thing all day. Come on, King Arthur. It's a simple investment, man. Papa shoot, name tag, and the balloon. You're going to be the place. And candy and stuff. Got to give candy away to the kids.
He's 100% right. The bubbles are it, but they don't have your name on them. But the bubbles attract the kids, and it's like, I could definitely get a Papa shoe or something.
Mini circus, my man. It's going to be the greatest ever.
And to have an event in July at a fair, my man.
You got to take pictures and send me. I'm so proud of you. I want a bubble machine. I want balloons. I want the Papa shot. I want the raffle for later on that day. Don't lose that name tag. It's got the number on it. Yeah, don't lose that name tag.
I'll make sure he does all of this stuff. And I'll make sure.
Now you want to come free. Now you want to.
I want to be there to see it.
King Arthur, good for you. You're going to do great, my friend. You're going to do great. Oh, and that TV that's constantly showing things in the loop-de-loop.
I do have the. I don't have a TV, but I do have like a marquee, LED marquee that has different, phrases and sayings on it, right? So and it lights up. So yeah.
Remember, taking pictures of Billy shooting and putting it on so he can walk by later and putting that on the website of yours of everyone that's participating at your thing. Where you take a photograph of them, they sign in and go to our website. You see Billy shooting. I always love to see Billy shooting. So you get a list of, then you get the list.
These are gems.
Then you get the list of 150 people, because then you can contact the other 70 people that did not convert that you had before, or the 80 or 90 people that you had before. Okay, you're working that list with the email that didn't close there, but you'll still get 10 to 15 people from that email. You know that.
And you've made sales on your website after an event, right? Because sometimes people will go to the website and
they
buy
will.
things.
And that's why I go outside, because I'm not the greatest at selling online, but I do know If I go outside and I can talk to people, I'll do 1,000 times
That's
better,
right.
right? And I don't
That's
mind
right.
talking to people. So the online stuff is like the
Online is
cherry
harder.
on top, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Question. What is you have the famous buffer boomerang technique. What is that?
It's adjustments of tone in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
When you were making your magazine calls,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people would say, "Is this a sales call? How'd you get my name? Take me off your list. F you."
All that.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, great. And so there's a technique when prospecting. If I was calling your company, I wouldn't just say, "Hi, may I speak to Bunny Flax?" I'd say, "Figuring shit's out. How are you today?" And so,
There you
gentlemen, I'm
go.
sorry about that. So
You're
where was
fine.
I? You were asking about the buffer boomerang technique. Is that correct, Bunny Flax?
Yes. Yeah.
It's an adjustment of tone. Someone asks you a question, like I was once again mentioning doing a company name spike. So instead of just asking for Bunny or King Arthur, I say the name of your company or podcast first. Figuring shit out. How are you today? You have no idea who I
Catchy.
am.
Catchy.
And so what's going to happen is you could say, is this a sales call taken off the list? Or they could say, who is this? Oh, that's a positive reinforcement. You didn't hang up on me. So then I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
hi, my name is Richard Blank. Oh, okay. Who is Richard Blank? Got the devil. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, Bunny, that's an excellent question. The name of my company is Costa Rica's call center. What's ABC? Bunny, that's a great question. ABC is 123. Richard, what's 123? King Arthur. Glad you brought that up. 123 is ABC. So all I would do is say your name, King Arthur. That's an excellent question. Repeat the question so you don't have to do it and send it back as a +2, especially in the beginning. They're half mooning it. What's your name? Oh, so glad you asked, Bunny. My name is Richard Blank. What's the name of your company? Richard Blank? Oh, Bunny, I knew you were going to ask that. The name of my company is Costa Rica's Call Center. So
Mm-hmm.
then I'm just going to play the odds. So let's just say hypothetically, I do get to pass the pitch from Bonnie. So he is going to transfer me to King Arthur. So before he goes, I'm going to say, hey, Bonnie, I just got to let you know you were great. And I'm going to let King Arthur know that too. You're very nice on the phone. So then I get transferred. He's like, hi, this is King Arthur, who no one gets through to. I go, hey, King Arthur, I just got to let you know, Bunny Flax is the greatest. You don't
Hey.
even know who I am. Oh yeah, he's my business partner. I go, exactly. Who are you? So glad that you asked. My name is Richard Blank. Who is Richard Blank? Got you twice, King Arthur. I'm so glad that you asked. The name of my company is Costa Rica's Call Center. So at least what's happening is I've bought myself 30 seconds a couple times. A
Mm-hmm.
10-minute phone call is 30, a 20, 30 seconds. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what's very important about this are checkpoints.
Right.
Checkpoints. And you wonder why then they didn't buy the magazine or buy your product. It's
Mm-hmm.
because you weren't working it. Now by using the name. You can't use that every time. If I keep going Bonnie, 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 King Arthur, it's annoying. And it's like telling a girl you love her 1,000 times. It loses its power.
Right.
And
Right.
so what I like to do, I call it a quarter-second slide technique. It's almost like subliminal hamburgers in the movies back in the day. Use the personal pronouns. It's the cousin of the name drop. So I could
Mm-hmm.
say your podcast, my company. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand? I've just put it's a trigger word. You're
Right.
supposed to pause before names and numbers for emphasis. I also believe that the not a pregnant pause, but that
Mm-hmm.
quarter-second slide is just enough to readjust a long sentence to give you balance again while boxing and
Right.
then give a person a chance to respond in a certain way. And so I'm mentioning before, it's a beautiful art of speech if you take your time and you do this and you give the people the chance to respond, then you can adjust accordingly.
Have you ever thought about creating it said you trained 10,000 call center employees. Have you ever thought of creating a course and putting it online and selling all these skills, or do you just use it to train your people in your call center and you don't you're you're not interested in coursework? Because you're very skilled, obviously. A lot of people have certain skills, but then when you put a course, you create a course to teach what you know, there's money in that too. And then you could sell a course, right? There's obviously a sales processing when it comes to coursework. Do you have a course? Do you have any aspirations of selling a course or anything like that? Or is your
My
passion running the call center?
Bonnie, great question. My passion at this stage is just paying it forward. The
Hmm.
fact that I'm on a podcast, I think is wonderful. And then I don't have my own podcast. I'm just a guest on podcast. So it's almost like the same thing where this is the sort of thing I might need the assistance. I
Right.
can't really create the um,
Of
pamphlet or the
course.
course on my own. I would need to work with somebody on that, but I appreciate the compliment. It's like a skill that I call it a skill, but it's just something I've worked on for so many years.
Right.
And I think the market speaks. I know that I do have a large attrition in this industry,
Hmm.
but everybody that's worked with me, regardless of the outcome, they cannot say that I didn't give them a fair shot, called the balls and the strikes, and did everything I could to
Hmm.
increase their speaking skills and self-confidence. And um, but how interesting,
Yeah.
to have a luxury trade.
Because I tell
And
you, and the reason I ask, because we're talking to you, we're learning so much. And and
thanks.
and I think about business ideas all the time. I start new businesses, ventures, projects, whatever. Some I finish, some I don't. Most I don't. But we're talking to you and I'm hearing you and I'm listening and I'm like, if he sold a course, if
Bro,
this guy sold a course, I would be first in
if
line
Frank.
to buy it.
Right. So
That's
I
cool,
remember,
man. I
I think I
appreciate
talked
that.
about going, like being outside and watching the people who sell who don't have that instant gratification. So I get a product sold right now, right? But there's people selling sheds and roofs and bathtubs that don't get the instant gratification, right? They're just lead generating and they're terrible.
Yeah.
I'm saying they're terrible for a bunch of different reasons, like because they're not the owner of the company, so they don't really care, right? They if they get two leads, that may be enough for them. While there's thousands of people walking by, their only goal is to get five calls or five numbers or five qualified leads. But a person like you talking to them, I wholeheartedly say you should probably talk to these people because not they're terrible, but not because they're terrible. They're just terrible because they don't care, right? And they
Right.
probably didn't get any qualified or quality training, right? They have I hands down haven't had anybody talk to them the way you talk, the way you speak, with your kind of confidence, the way you control your tones and stuff like that. I think that's kind of cool, but I just know that people who are selling who don't get the instant gratification, who don't have a product to sell immediately, right, would benefit from. And so I was thinking that same thing from when you was like, you of course, because like you probably like there.
I
I'm
don't.
sure there's a billion companies that'll pull you in to talk to their sales team to generate better qualified leads.
No, I appreciate that. But you have to realize something else, King Arthur. There are
What's that?
things happening outside of the office that are affecting their performance. If they can't master that level, how are they going to get to the next? And they have to put themselves in the boss's position. They want someone. Everyone's doing five. Imagine if all of us are ripping like 40, 50, 60 a day. What do you think the boss is going to think? I'm paying this cat more money and I'm
Absolutely.
going to see what I can do to not lose him. And
Right.
if God forbid something happens with my flat tire, or I want to take a weekend with my wife or something, I call the boss. He's like, "Mom, man, here's $100. Have a great time."
Right.
And so it's about maturity. I
Hmm.
mean, if they're looking to do the maximum minimum, then what do you want me to do? They probably don't make their own bed. They probably don't hit the gym. Their diet's crap. And you wonder why. I mean, I'm not motivation, whatever. I like discipline.
There it
I
is.
like doing it when it sucks, when it's really cold out and it's slushy, and you still got to get up and heat your car up to get to work in those winters in Philly. It doesn't matter. I mean, you got to do it. And
Right.
so I love the gym because you can't spin it. When
Hmm.
there's somebody there that has the muscle tone and is in really good shape, and you put in the time as well, there is that mutual respect because you know what you're putting into it. And
Hmm.
that's why with this language thing with me, I'm one that learns to speak English. I see what they've done. And so when I see someone like that, how about this, King Arthur? I would have never hired that kid to begin with. I would have had 5 checkpoints prior to this kid coming on board. Blaming the manager? Absolutely not. You didn't hire the right guy. And I'm going to tell you the secret. It's not them saying they want to grow and they're loyal, they'll show up on time. No, I'm going to say, yo, Bunny Flax, why don't you turn your paper over and write King Arthur and I a coming of age moment? We want to know when you kicked a bully's ass or when you
Hmm.
saved a kitten. Why? Because King Arthur, prior to hiring you, might ask you a zig and zag question. Can you be loosey goosey? What's loosey goosey? The left and the right of the mall.
Right.
Getting the guy to come in. The carnival barker, like King Arthur now, instead of doing it the hard way, he's got bubble machines and balloons and
Name
basketball and a
tag.
raffle and a big bear that's on top that everyone wants to win. And all the pretty moms that come by, you got to give them something too. There's got to be something cool you hand them too, and just make it cool. Maybe have that little coffee going too, so they get a little 6 ounce of a little shot or something. Because now they're really not going to want to leave. You give them some coffee, now they're there for 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Have the thick coffee thing going. Come on, King Arthur, and then you wonder why, because that's the thing that attracts the people, and
Mhm.
you're just there organizing in the middle of the big party, working the room. That's all. Mm-hmm.
My God.
And
That's
that's where
huge.
you can work the room, because instead of rushing on the table because you're trying to sell five and three show up, no, no, no. Mrs. Jones, why don't you go have a coffee for a minute with your husband? I'll be right there. Billy and Johnny can go shoot some hoops, close the deal in 3 minutes, on to the next. And you can do some sort of rotation where people can go around for the coffee, the game, and then the table. And now you're not losing anybody. Now
Right.
you're at like 75, 80 people. You're going to be killing this
Maximum
thing.
effort, efficiency.
My
I
God.
better get a signed book from you, King Arthur. You better hook me up with something.
Please.
No,
I'll send you a book. I'll send you a signed book.
I
So
definitely want to read something, Bonnie Flags.
No
that,
doubt.
that's amazing. But you're right. But you are 1,000% right. Those guys are only there for the check, right? They're only there for the bare minimum, like you said. They probably shouldn't have been hired because they're not putting like if the owner of the company was to come by and see the lackluster in these guys, they probably get fired, right? Or not fired, or just some additional training, hopefully, right? Because clearly you're representing my company, you're not doing the best job you can possibly do. So,
Well, we have quality assurance where calls are recorded. Maybe the owner should be filming them outside legally if he can and showing them and go, yo, Bonnie,
what's
Mhm.
up?
look at your shoulders and look how you're standing and you're too far away and your hand's weird. And, you should be presenting things a certain way. And the guy's like, no, you're kind of right.
Mhm.
Maybe even if he has mustard on his face, Billy, you got mustard on your face.
Right.
And so sometimes when I would listen to the calls of the people, they'd look at me and I'd look back and go, nice. What do you want me to say? You didn't do military alphabet. You missed the Navy. You could
Right.
have
Right.
slammed it. You could have gotten the bunny, but you didn't.
Right.
Man.
And so those are the sort of things I'll give them some serious Philly guilt. I go, come on,
Yeah.
King Arthur. You're better than that. You're like, I know. I go, come on, you're out of character.
Right.
That's all. You size them up. It's molding. It's molding, King Arthur, like a squire to a knight. You should know this, King. And so why give up on them? All three of us have been given three chances in the past with people. Yes or no, sometimes four, with
Yeah.
teachers or other coaches or just people that sometimes look left and right and just gave you the pass. You say, you
Mhm.
know what? I'm going to give the kid a break because I was in his shoes one day. And so, as I'm saying, my friend, this new generation, just don't give up on them. The fact that the
Mhm.
kids are showing up is half the battle. Don't blame the manager. They just don't have the right system yet. But you'll
Right.
get
Right.
there. They just have to do it.
No,
Hey
that's
Frank,
huge. That's
hey
huge.
Frank,
Yep.
I just had it like you, a business idea. Like I could do that. I could record his employee. Hey boss, look at your guy. Look what your guy's doing.
That's
Give
right.
him some more training, right? And if you need some help, on some tips, I could probably help you with something. Or I could connect you with a guy named Richard Blank, right? He can probably give you some tips on how to help this guy get better, help your team get better, right? That's because I see it all day. I met a lot of fairs, a lot of events. A lot of those companies and those guys just handing out flyers. Hi, how you doing?
Right.
Real, real blah. Right. So
Yeah,
And you
that was
wonder
probably me with the
why.
magazine. I mean, I
No, but
was on, but yeah, that was probably me. I was probably we talking 20 years ago. This was like early 2000s.
right, you sound scarred too because you remember it too vivid.
It was
that's true.
it feels like it was yesterday, to be honest. And I never look back at it, but yeah. No, I got some work to do. I know that. I got some, like I said, if you were selling a course, I'd be the first in line. I'd
I'm
buy it
signed already.
no matter
Oh,
how
I
much it
appreciate
was.
that, Bunny Flags.
Because
That's very nice of you.
you you definitely know how to speak. You definitely know how to sell. That's something I'm lacking in. I can create businesses and do work and labor, and I'm smart and I know things. When it comes to like pushing a product or promoting something, That's where I like. But of
Funny
course,
flax, can I give you some homework? Can I
sure,
give you a
yes,
homework assignment? And I'll
do
make it
that.
fun. Do you
Let's
remember in
go.
school when they brought in the television and VCR? You're like, yeah. So
Yeah.
my homework is watching TV. You need to go back and watch the shows I used to watch. You first need to watch the A Team, and you need to study Templeton Peck immediately. That's the famous actor Dirk Benedict that was Starbuck in the original Battlestar Galactica. Amazing actor, extremely
Okay.
glib. Now, the other level is Pierce Brosnan and his Remington Steele.
Okay.
If you want some choice delivery, do that. Now, I'm going to give you my true mentor and master. I
Uh-oh.
can't imitate him because it's Queen's English, and you guys will be like, dude, what's wrong with you? You know, I don't speak like this. But if you study the late Basil Rathbone, when he was Sherlock Holmes, he made 17 movies you can watch, which is good, but he made dozens of old time radio 20-minute murder mystery and mayhems. But if you want to hear the choice, top grade vocabulary, delivery, rhetoric, and when people are trying to rip on him, how he handles it. This
Right.
is the king. Sorry, King. This is the
Look,
king of rhetoric, and
you,
it's just
you did
those are my teachers.
TV, movies. That is perfect. That's right. I watch movies. I watch TV. I wrote these down as you went through them. That's easy homework. I could definitely do that. So thank you
And I'm
for.
not going to insult you. There's a lot of SAT words there that I had to look up. I didn't know a lot of these words. I was like, they're so
No,
smart.
I'm not worried about that. A
Okay, good.
team, A team, Pierce Brosnan. I thought you were gonna say Goldeneye, but Pierce Brosnan, Remington Steele, and
Oh,
then
he was good
yeah,
with Stephanie Zimbalist. This was really good. He was like a con artist. He wasn't
yeah.
Remington Steele. He was actually a diamond thief in the beginning. But what a
Oh,
show!
okay, yeah, yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna look that up.
That's
Well,
amazing.
yeah, no, I appreciate. Well, we have a last question. So we have a last question we ask every guest. And the last
Yeah,
question is, what is something that you're trying to figure out now? Maybe something you're struggling with, maybe anything you're trying to figure out in business and personal life. Because the first question was, what was your figuring shit out moment? So now, what is something you're trying to figure out in life?
letting go of weight.
Hmm.
Mm, yeah, so I can feel better. Weight is terrible, mental weight, and
Hmm.
so the worst thing are Sunday night jitters. Please tell me you don't have those high school not ready for the exam dreams that we all still have from time to time. I think there are certain stages where you really need to let things go and
Oh,
make
yeah,
peace with it. And you cannot be hard on yourself of the things you did when you were 18 years old or 30 years old. And so you're a different man then.
right.
But if you did things with honorable intentions and good faith, just without the experience, then I still give you a pass. And at least today, try, as I say earlier, pay it forward in different ways if you can. And so for me, just about, as I say, not trying to live with regret and realizing I made some very big life decisions as a young man where I could have stayed in the States and had a different destiny, but it didn't
Yeah.
happen. And so I can't think of things like that. At this stage, one of the most beautiful things you can do is acceptance, not forgiveness. Some people are schmucks and you should never forgive them. But I think
Acceptance.
I think if things that are within your control,
Hmm.
especially if you feel pain or a certain memory, instead of stewing in it, let it just glance over you. It's just gotta pass. Don't ignore it because then it's weird
Hmm.
and it festers and don't eat it. But there are certain times when it's like a cold chill that happens. Just
Yeah.
take it for a second and it goes away, and that's
Right.
just how you can persevere and keep moving forward during certain times.
Man,
Those are facts. That's
Lord, thank
huge.
you for allowing us to accept things we cannot change things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. My man Richard Blank, we appreciate you, man. This is an amazing episode. I'm going to watch this one again. I'm sure Frankie is. We appreciate you taking the time. What time is it in Costa Rica?
Well, you're looking at 8:41. We're on Mountain Standard Time.
Oh, he's
Okay,
two
so it's a
hours,
little
2 hours
early.
behind us.
It's still nighttime out there. We appreciate you for coming out. Oh, socials. How can people find you? How can they reach out to you? How can they get a hold of you? Stuff like that.
buy a first class plane ticket and fly down to the Happy Land. Come visit me and
Costa,
come,
that would be nice.
I'm a
I'm,
pinball machine collector. Come play all the games that I have and everything.
hey, that would be dope.
All
I'm,
right.
I'm sure the food out there is amazing. I'm on a 7-day water fast now. I'm on
Right.
day 6. He's talking about he's in Costa Rica, so I'm sure the food out there is crazy. So
Delicious, all
that
the
sounds
exotic
like a trip.
fruit. Yeah,
Yes.
it's good stuff.
All
Thanks
right.
again, man. Appreciate you, man. This is amazing. Wish you the best, and we will talk to you soon. Yes, sir.
All
Take
right.
care,
Thanks so much.
gentlemen.
All right.
Bye.